Yes, of course, pedophiles have the exact same rights as everyone else. They get to engage in consensual relationships, just like every other person. Children, however, cannot consent, so they can't engage in those relationships. The reason that we make laws against those relationships is not because it's unnatural, but because it harms another human. Our rights end where another person's body begins. And unlike what you're trying to argue here, homosexuality is not a slippery slope to pedophilia. The reason that it seems like it to you is because your morality is vertical, meaning you believe things are wrong because God has told you it's wrong. Within that vertical system, morality is just a set of rules handed down to us by God. When you're functioning from within that worldview, it appears to you that people like me, who embrace homosexuality, are just giving the middle finger to God. We're throwing away moral codes, and we're just doing whatever feels good to us. And if that's my standard for morality, whatever feels good, then yeah, it could be a slippery slope to pedophilia. Because if I'll break one of God's rules for my own personal happiness, then why not break any rule? The problem is, you are misunderstanding where we get our morality. We don't believe that morality is a set of rules handed down to us from a God. Instead, we believe, or at least I believe, that it is a system that guides interpersonal relationships. Think about it. If you were the last living being on Earth, there would be no such thing as morality. No moral precepts, no moral rules. Why? Because your actions couldn't harm another. Morality is born from humans interacting. And as such, it isn't a set of precepts handed to us from a being that doesn't have to live with the interactions. It's also not completely relative, based on everybody's individual desires and happiness. Something's not moral just because I, as one person, want to do it. And it's also not moral because God, one being, decided it. Instead, it is an interaction, an engagement between humans who have to share the same space. Deciding the best moral path requires communication. It requires listening. It requires believing other humans and their lived experiences. It requires all of us coming together as equals to decide the best way for humans to reduce harm and increase happiness. And I get it. It's not as easy as a system where God just hands us the rules and we don't have to think anymore. But look around at our world. What reality do you actually see? Do you see humankind walking around agreeing with each other about morality because it was written on their hearts? I mean, even Christians don't agree with each other. Or do you see a world in which we are fighting about morality? We are arguing, we are laying out our case, and we are shouting over each other. That's the world I see. And the faster we all start accepting that morality is on us, the faster we can get to the work of making this world a better place.